Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of the code. The fundamentals of code are better than Bitcoin's fundamentals. The inflation model is better than Bitcoin's inflation model. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. It's decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things. Ahoy, crypto pirates. Hey, wait a minute. Let's light the torches, light the lanterns. How's everybody doing tonight? It's me, RG3, your captain. Welcome to Chatting with the Captain. How you doing, chat room? How's everybody? Good to have you here. We've got an exciting show tonight. Why? Why is it so exciting to me? Well, first of all, the reason that this old dude's even here speaking to you guys is because I believe that decentralized finance and the blockchain is going to bring the 21st century to fruition. We've been living in the dark ages for a long time. The internet hasn't advanced in eons. It's time for it to move forward. I traveled Europe, what was it, 2 years ago. And I was being introduced into a lot of Web3 projects, NFT projects, artists, people that were making interactive reality worlds and stuff, and all this stuff, immersive, experiences with art and entertainment. And they were all built. They're ready to go. Like, these people were ready to jump on it. And I knew that the missing piece was blockchain, because you have to have the blockchain to tie it all together. You need that financial backing, that the thing that makes it run. You got to be able to tap into different networks. Also, we're going to need networks that have hard drive space. We're going to need networks that do handle the commerce. We're going to need networks that provide the video card space. Hint: Ethereum miners. So we're going to need these different networks, and blockchain is going to bring it. And NFT technology also is going to help people tap into that and bring it out, tie it all together. But anyway, when I was out in Europe, all these people, Ferrari, some of the big malls that are out there, Selfridges and those types of things, they were all looking to get involved, but they couldn't. There was no blockchain ready. And I was pitching PulseChain at the time, but PulseChain didn't come out for 2 years later. So a year and a half later or whatever. So I was telling them it was coming, but it was going to be a viable solution for them to actually launch their projects on a blockchain soon. And here it is. It's here. We have PulseChain. We have a cheap, efficient blockchain to run on, to launch these projects on, to curate NFT art, to bring music, to bring all of these things to fruition. So it's time we start doing that. It's time. So that's the reason why I was here, to bring adoption to crypto, to push Hex so that people can see what it is, that there's better financial tools out there. But now that we have PulseChain, Richard said, let's build on it. Let's go build on it, guys. I'm going to give it to you. Here, go do what you got to do. And I see so many people out there, working, and my team too. We've been working on a lot of different projects, trying to get things up off the ground and moving and running and shaking. And finally, we think that our products are ready for prime time, and we're going to start bringing them to you. And not shilling anything, not telling anybody to buy anything, but I'm just saying that we're bringing technology to the blockchain. And so this project here that we're going to talk about tonight, that we're bringing up, myself, Kinetics, Kool-Aid, you guys know him, a couple other players in the back, Gifford Ware, our tech guy, our crypto bro, who's got another project coming out here that's already launched basically, but we're going to have some more coming up. But we teamed up with a fire team of guys from they're all old school Blizzard Entertainment guys that were integral in setting the pace for what Blizzard was doing over the last couple decades. And you all know where that's gone. I mean, Diablo, World of Warcraft, Richard Hart's favorite game, StarCraft. And tonight we have one of the guys who was a big part of all that. And I guess you would call him a creative technologist. And now he's an entrepreneur. And he's out shaking things up, and he's teamed up with us. And we're going to talk to you about our project and what we're bringing to the blockchain. And it's really about art and entertainment, and curating, and using the tools of Web3 to bring a whole new world of entertainment to the table. So without any further chit chat, I'm going to bring up my new buddy and homie Paul Limon, or it's Limon, right?
Limon. That
Limon.
works. Yeah.
How you doing, Paul? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, things are going great.
So I've probably butchered your pedigree, but we've been busy working. We haven't really been talking about what we've all been doing in the past. I know who you are and where you're from, but could you give everybody kind of a brief bio of first, what got you into the gaming world? What kind of kid geek were you that ended you up in the gaming world, or did it kind of accidentally stumble upon you as you were an adult, or what was it for you? How did that happen?
Well, basically, I started out of high school, started designing my own games. And maybe it was what got me into it was maybe proving to my parents that I wasn't wasting time playing. It was actually research.
Trying to justify it, right?
It was research. I wasn't just wasting time. I'm researching. And, I was very fortunate. I designed a game. And at the time, Blizzard's parent company wanted to produce it. And so I got introduced to Blizzard at a very early stage in the company. It was like maybe 30 people, which is very small. Now it's like 5,000 or something, crazy. And so when I got started, it was also very fortunate because it was such a small company and such a small team that you got to wear multiple hats. So it wasn't like, nowadays the game industry, if I texture, that's all I do. Or if I build models, I just model, or animation or whatever. You're very much siloed. Back then, you step up to the plate and you do what has to be done to get this product out. So I'm very grateful that I got to work on some really great properties. I got to design some instrumental characters within those genres. Like for Diablo, designing Tyrael was really Blizzard was amazing. They allowed me to take the concept of an archangel and turn it into this crazy armored, no-faced creature with glowing tentacles for wings and all. Not your traditional archangel. And at the end of the day, that became kind of a staple for the Diablo franchise. This became what archangels were. And if you've ever played Diablo, it's a fantasy role-playing game set in dungeons, and you get to be different characters and fight things, and it's a very fun game. It's a very fun game. But yeah, so in a nutshell, I really got to get in there, roll up my sleeves, play around in the early days of Blizzard. I became like the finisher for the cinematics division. So when you see the look and feel of cinematics at Blizzard, it all went through me, from the StarCrafts to the Diablos, which helped create the tone of what that cinematic look was. Because at the end of the day, I was compositing, I was animating for Diablo. Whole cutscenes I did, basically myself. It was a great opportunity. And then, just in a nutshell, I transitioned on to doing all kinds. I was represented by, agency. I started consulting for studios. So I've consulted on IP and how they would transition that into interactive for everything from Harry Potter to Gossip Girls to Men in Black. There's a million different things. And now I call myself a tech entrepreneur, to wrap it up, just because I really jumped into AI and some of this new technology,
Good for you.
Neck deep or more. And I see a future. And what we're talking about, I see this giant future in utilizing technology for new ways to interact with your entertainment.
So real quick, go all the way back to the beginning. What was the name of that first game that you produced that Blizzard picked up?
It was called Penitence. And the whole goal, it was X-Files meets Indiana Jones. And it was about, kind of like the X-Files was all about a government cover-up. This was about a divine cover-up. A race of creatures that God himself didn't want to be known by mankind. And it was this archaeological Indiana Jones type thing of uncovering. It was very adventure game and mystery game, as opposed to what Blizzard traditionally does. So of course it didn't. It ended up didn't making the eventual cut, which is very common in,
Hmm, hmm.
in the entertainment industry, where you might sell something but it never goes all the way to full production. Um, but it's still near and dear to my heart. It's something that, like, in the future, potentially it'd be something to resurrect.
Nice, nice. So when so was the character Tyrael like your pinnacle as things started to grow? Was that like your fame, I guess?
It became kind of a staple of, I'd say, the Diablo universe,
Uh-huh.
and it became the definition of what archangels were. Um, it's the kind of thing that, I wish I'd had a royalty on that. It'd have been like, that'd have been nice to to participate in that.
But how does that feel like when you do something big like that or something become, I mean, that's like world famous, right? So Tyrael's world famous. Like just about everybody's run across the game and I mean, how does it feel having like something that you created, like the fame and like nobody knows who you are, you're walking around and
But
people are
I love
playing your
that. I've
game
never
and
been. It's that quiet happiness. Like, I remember at E3, there used to be these big video game conventions,
yeah,
E3,
yeah.
and they'd go all out building these booths, and Blizzard put tier in these booths, and I remember just standing in front and getting a picture, and just being proud. You know what I mean? In a weird way, it's like, I don't care if people know. I personally am happy that something that you create takes a life of its own on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It just continues to exist, and it was just fun. It was fun to know. But I took, I took a picture in front of it, and I was just very proud look on my face
Right on.
to see that
Right on.
thing. Yeah,
So so now let's go to jump to AI real quick. You know it's a new emerging technology. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it's just like now hitting the scene with Chat GPT and
yep.
all of the tools that are out there for us to all utilize now. And you and I were in the green room, and I've used this analogy a few times on the show. Is every there's Chat GPT out. We're also, I mean, I'm using it on a regular basis now. I mean, I planning a trip in Europe. I'm like, hey, well, tell me how to what are the good places for me and my 7-year-old and blah 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 to get from here to here and how many days and what's the good spots, and it just lays out a whole itinerary for you. It's badass. So I'm loving it. But I do remember the same type of fear, the same type of animosity towards a technology when the calculator came out. I remember going to school and having the calculator or having the Casio. If you had the Casio watch that had the calculator on it, like, you were not allowed to bring it into school. You were not allowed to have it in math class. It was like an evil devil. It was going to ruin kids' mathematical skills and all this kind of stuff and make us lazy. And but that's not the case. The
Well,
calculator is now a necessity in school for kids to do their homework.
yep, and it's part of your daily life.
So,
I
so
think
do you think that AI is that way? I mean,
100%. I honestly believe that it's the light bulb moment. It's the automobile moment. People that built candles and people that built horseshoes were scared. Here goes a Model T drives by. What's going to happen to my horseshoe business? You know, you flip a
mhm,
switch, the light bulb comes on. Well, people aren't going to want candles anymore. You're going to have to transition. And
yeah,
I see AI as the one of the greatest tools, just like an automobile. I no longer have to get in a wagon and hitch the horses to get to a location. It allowed me to change how I do my life. I can now drive 20 miles very quickly and easily in a day and come back. And how the world functioned changed because of that. I see this as the same type of moment in history. We're going to look back almost like before the internet, and now nobody thinks twice about the fact we use the internet for everything now. AI is going to have that same impact on society, and it's scary because it's new, but
mhm.
it's not going to be scary in the long run.
No, I don't think so.
It's an
I don't
amazing.
live in. I'm not one to live in fear anyway. I try and see,
Yeah.
if new technology or something comes out, it's like, how do we adjust? The human race is going to adjust. I don't believe in zombie apocalypse or
No.
end of world scenarios. I believe that, things come out, people run around, the end is nigh with signs, and then everything calms down. And it's like, no, there's only 3 guys out there walking around with those signs now, and we're all happier and life is better and things are getting, you know, uh,
Yep.
things are advancing. Just like I think we need to get into the 21st century, and Web3
100%.
should be here because guys like you are making stuff that's Web3 capable. Like you as a child, as a young man, decided to, make a video game based on a reality that you created in your head. Let's talk about the reality you want to create now. What in Web3? What are the possibilities that you say? So now you've built games. You know what games do. You know how they operate. You know how they function. You know how to distribute them to the public and what they want to consume. What creative juices inside you are flowing now that you have interaction with AI and Web3 and people can create their own artwork and stories and whatnot with your platform. What's your vision now for the future of this?
Is exactly that. How do we give the audience agency over the worlds we create to mod them and make new extensions of those worlds? But also, how do you marry the digital and the physical together? You'll buy a special edition game, package bundle, and it might come with collectible that's physical and skins for a character or something, but it lives within that ecosystem. What I love is the fact that collectibility can expand from that. And that's what I see, like what we're talking about with Fanforge and a lot of this stuff we're doing, is to build that infrastructure to allow collectors to own pieces of things they really like. And, we're talking about all kinds of we can get into that maybe later, but all kinds of strategy of how, because you're a collector, you should have exclusive items and exclusive access and feel that red carpet experience because you're willing to spend more because you like it. That's a good thing. I spend more on a game if I want the collector's, like a Fallout. If I want the collector's with a Pit-Boy, I'm going to spend more on that than just buying, downloading it from Steam or something. But I love it. I love the Pit-Boy. I want to collect it. I want it, a special weapon in the game or something like that. I think that there's an opportunity to do that on media as a whole, not just in interactive and gaming, but as media as a whole. Give these special editions, these bundle type experiences for collectors.
So let's talk about Fanforge then. You just mentioned the name. So let's talk a little bit about that and what that is, where it came from, the brainchild of it, and whatnot, and then maybe we can talk about how we met on that field.
Exactly. Well, I think part of it was I've been wanting to do this kind of collectible marketplace for a long time, and technology was always, it's questionable. How do we get it? How do we make it work? Joe, which knows you guys first, I've worked with for years, and introduced me to this whole concept of the blockchain and this new technology that we can utilize to allow people to truly own their digital content. And that was exciting. I'm like, well, you know what? This idea of merchandise, both physical and digital, being around media can actually happen now. Now it can happen a step at a time, first, one thing, but I really see at the end of the day, I have Disneyland mugs because you go to Disneyland, you buy the mug, you buy the t-shirt. And if I could tie all that together with my digital, the Pixar movie that released or something like that, I think that is the future of collectibility. And I really like that, that intro, that first step into, hey guys, let's grab this.
Yeah, definitely for authentication. Authenticating it on the blockchain is going to be an integral part of that exclusivity that you're talking about. So with your quest to put your wares and your content and to allow others to curate, you guys were out searching and hunting for blockchain technologists, for people that knew the blockchain, and you ended up running into us.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know a lot. I'm not a blockchain expert, but there's a lot of hurdles that what you guys told explained to me that we can solve using this current technology. And to me, I just look at it as technology. That's it. This is a technology that helps me get that goal of supplying fans with some really cool things that are digital that they can own. That's it. It's finally a technology. And I know there can be baggage around the whole blockchain thing, but that's what I think we can cut through.
Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out to Crypto Kool-Aid and Joe Solo. The two of them and their relationship in the gaming world together is what brought these two teams together and brought the guys from Blizzard to PulseChain and us to them. But what we're talking about doing here, I mean, when we all sat down and we have all these great ideas, and you know, we're talking about how good the blockchain is, and they're talking about how good their concepts and their technology or their content is, and when it all came down to it, our conversation really boils down to we want to legitimize both utilizing both of these technologies, both of these spaces. We want to legitimize the spaces, you know, bringing a real Web3 experience and also legitimizing crypto by bringing outside people that have, you know, reputations in their industry that are, you know, above and beyond compare, stellar, very much in the outside of the entrepreneur space, but literally in the enterprise space. These guys have really worked in the at the highest echelons of their craft, and we you know, as crypto folks have endured the onslaught of, you know, the scam, because we have to be honest and understand where everybody comes from, because you know 90% of the garbage out here in the crypto space is scams. And we here, the Hexicans, the people that are in this space locally here, we understand and know what the founder that we've all championed has created. He's created, you know, the first real DeFi crypto with Hex, and he also created the first truly decentralized blockchain, which is Pulse. And I say that when I talk about the technology, we have a blockchain that has validators spread out all over the world, 45,000 of them that aren't owned by any entity, that are all individuals, people that are just participating in the chain itself. So we've got a fully decentralized network. We've got content that's coming from the highest echelons of the craft, all coming together and putting a product out in front of the people that is going to bring a real Web3 experience. And that's what we're looking to do. We want to legitimize the blockchain. We want to legitimize the marriage of entertainment, gaming, and the blockchain all in one time. And that's what this team's here to do. So I'm really glad that we've met, and it's kind of like almost like a what would you call it, a divine intervention, where we've all come together.
Yeah, kismet, the whole thing. Yeah.
And it's time. It's time. The technologies are here, and the ideas are here, and the professionals and everybody to do it is here. So I think we're going to be the first ones to do it. And I'm proud to be on this team.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And you know, there's a lot of you know, people we know in the industry, people we know, you know, interactive and entertainment, you know, traditional media industries, that I think we can prove out this model, take away the fear factor, and show them that this is an amazing playground for creatives to not allow a studio structure to take all of your revenue, but to allow you to create things that become rewarding for you and your fans together, which is unique in itself too. It's a completely different business model than a studio business model. I release a book, I release a movie, or, you know, game. You pay me, and that's the end of it. Whereas this seems almost democratizing media in a way that by collecting it, we can all benefit from that together. And to me, you know, we can explore how that all works and explore, you know, and like in game design, it's, you know, sometimes walking a little Frankenstein-ness until you get everything correct, but we have the potential to get a really cool model together, a really cool way to do this. So yeah, out the gate, we got a lot of cool things to try, but I know that just like in a game, you know, the year 1, year 2 in development, it's much better than it was in year 1. And getting in early like this is helping us explore what needs to be built out for the future of a continuous future, not just right now, but like years long of saying, no, this is a sustainable model for hopefully ever.
Mm-hmm. So so we can talk about all the awesome, cool stuff that could happen. So rather than
Yeah,
the crypto space hates promises. They hate
yeah,
promises. It's like, yeah, we're gonna do this way out here, you know, and it's like, okay, well, let's bring it back in here, Scooter. Let's see how you fly first.
yeah.
And so let's talk about the minimum viable product. Let's talk about what we're going to be issuing and launching first because it's here. We're ready. We've
Yeah.
already built the technology. It's not like we've got to wait for this technology to come out. We're marrying a couple of things, like, you know, some of the back end stuff on the website that we're doing, but and gosh, these guys, the artistic genius that is in this team is just insane. I mean, they're spitting stuff out like I've never seen how fast and how badass this stuff is. I mean, I'm blown away watching you guys work because you know, I'm just the captain. I sit in the back and I sit in the back of the room like the dumb kid and watch them all work. And just the stuff that they're spitting out is freaking amazing. And so let's talk about the minimum viable product first, though. So before we get into all the
Yep.
cool stuff that
Yep.
can come, what is that going to be? And let's talk about what it's going to look like.
So I'll explain the reason why. We're thinking of starting with audio dramas. And the reason why was podcasting has become this giant growing industry. And I used to, a long time ago, even at Blizzard, I used to listen to these old radio programs, which were just like fully acted, fully sound effects, little mini movies,
Mm-hmm.
but no visuals. There were little mini movies that you could listen to while you work or doing something. And that's kind of, it's hard to find now. So we're saying that let's start with that again. Let's take a lot of this IP, make that the first step, because at the end of the day, in the long plan, that is an audio track for an animation, for example, or that is the beginning of market viability for extending that IP into interactive, into, you know, animated, even into film. You know, there's a lot of things that you establish it in this really easy to grasp way. You make every episode collectible. So if we do, you know, a few episodes of some of the things, there's a project that is near and dear to my heart that I released as a comic book series called Destiny Gate.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go into a little bit, but I really love the idea of creating an audio drama around that, and then using that to take the next step of potentially, you know, an animated series, and then continually building on this IP and giving people more and more all the time to interact with, play, and hopefully enjoy. That's the point of it. You know, hopefully they really enjoy this IP, and now they have more and more ways to experience this world that they've come to enjoy. So I've got this example, a
There it
trade
is.
paperback, and so it was this. Basically, the story was about this guy, Mitchell Slate. So I'll give you just a quick little
Yeah.
thumbnail. But Mitchell Slate, it's set in the 30s during the Depression era, and he's a traveling salesman that's down on his luck. And what happened is he's heading home on a train and he's gone insane. He thinks the whole reason that he's been unsuccessful is his wife and two kids have been plotting against him to force his downfall because he's cracked. Well, the point of a destiny gate, it's a split second in time that we all go through. We go through a split second time where we enter a destiny gate, and that's where we have to make our decision. So Mitchell said all the emotions that's driven him is mad, his self-doubt, his rage, his fear, have been turned into these creatures, like literal like monsters, that now he has to overcome, set this train he's on back on course. Well, I'm trying to find some of these creatures in here. So this is Madness, which is like a padded
This is
cell.
very H.P. Lovecraft right here. This whole
It's got a
thing.
little bit of that. And it's just to set the train back on course because he needs to change his plan of going home and basically killing his family and change that course and save his family and basically himself. It's kind of the Shining, the Shining movie, because at the end of the day, that's what he was trying to do, is trying to kill his family.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the Shining. There's a scene when he's at the bar and he puts his head down, and when he puts his head up, he sees the bartender, which didn't exist. And the bartender's now telling him he needs to kill his family. That's when Destiny Gate happened in the movie. That's when Jack Nicholson entered Destiny Gate and failed. He failed, and then you find him chasing his kid through a maze with an axe. And so that's the point of this project. And I think, we released it as a series of comics, and we tied in with Walking Dead. And so I chose they have a cover with Negan because they collectible all the Walking Dead characters. And
Sweet.
at the end of the day, the problem with all media is awareness in the marketplace. When you're small people, giant budgets, you might love a project, but its success depends on people even knowing about it. And I think that's another thing that I think that this whole community can help. It's being able to take something like this, turn it into an audio drama, expand it then, and continue this build of something that is, like, as a creator, near and dear to our hearts. This has literally been sitting around on my creative shelf for a long time, at least 15 years or more.
Wow.
And finally I'm like, no, it's I want to make this, and I hope people like it, but I want to make it.
Well, here's the interesting thing is that, the crypto space has been around for about 13 years, a little longer than that if you go, BB before Bitcoin. And the narrative has always been all of these cool things that we can do, how we can integrate technologies and bring Web3 to fruition, all this stuff that we can do, change money, all that. There's a whole nother world besides just the money side of crypto, which is, this entertainment arts environment. The marriage of these two doesn't have to be dynamic. I mean, we don't have to, and we're even working on it when we're working on the website, because we don't need the public to know that they're, it's a crypto, it's an NFT, it's a blockchain. We don't need any of that. We're going to create a stealth kind of onboarding platform where people are going to be looking for content, looking for items and entertainment and art that they want to participate in. And unknowingly, as they bring their credit card to do their purchases, they're going to be participating in blockchain technology without it even being, known. I mean, we're working on literally hiding a wallet behind all this, not to hide it, but it's unnecessary for them to even know understand. It's
you don't
semantics.
have all the technical hurdles to understand or anything. You just realize that you now own a piece of digital content that you enjoy.
Yeah. And you'll have a platform to pull that digital content down. Just like if you were in the back end of a game that has your skins and your items and all those things.
And the skins is a good example. Like, if you play Fortnite or Overwatch, something like that, I can buy skins in that game, but it stays within that ecosystem. But no one thinks of it. They could have a blockchain behind the technology of owning that skin. Yeah. You don't need to know that. You need, as a fan, to know that I own it.
Yeah. And then who knows, one day there might be a button there that allows them to, hey, I want to trade my currency for this currency, or I want to participate in the Hex ecosystem or something later on down the road.
Way for this community to open the door of understanding to the larger, audiences, to the larger, just the mainstream community, and make an interest point, make an on-ramp to everybody. But it starts with like the tip of the spear, and then it branches out from there. And I think that is the opportunity with Fanforge and what we're doing with you guys in this community is this technology can do that, can facilitate that, and it helps us grow. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely gonna marry two communities. The crypto community and the gaming community, the audiobook community, and start making hopefully a friendly, helpful handshake introduction to one another, versus the crypto space, especially during times of what we call the bear market, can be extremely toxic and nasty when people are down in their
you can see that,
their bags. So hopefully this is going to be a lighter hearted way of people being introduced without them even know they're being introduced. And of course the crypto community is going to want to participate anyway, because we know that content like this, that when you're talking basically about a collectible, these are collectibles. They're going to be collectible games, entertainment, music, books. the crypto world understands the value of those things, and they're going to want to collect them and be involved anyway, and consume the content, and own the content themselves for value. So that's going to be kind of easy. Um, were how much did you know about the crypto space before you kind of hooked up with us and started doing anything? Were you
Incredibly
at
little.
all? What's
Yeah,
that?
it wasn't really something I was in, and I knew very little. Um, the good story I told is I had a bunch of Bitcoins back when a professor I knew was using Bitcoin to buy Cokes at a vending machine. He set up this little thing at the college to use a cryptocurrency at the end of the day to buy Cokes. And so I remember I bought, I don't know how many, maybe, but not a lot, but maybe like a dozen or something like that, so I could test out the machine and buy a Coke. I have no idea where those went. And that's
Just
I said, because now
whoever
I'm like,
owned that machine.
exactly. That's how long. So I really didn't pay attention. Um, and I should have. I should have paid more attention because those kind of stories, you're like, I probably could have had a nice chunk of change if I didn't get that stuff. But you learn, and now that I'm learning about this and learning about the PulseChain and learning about the difference, all the gas fees and how it works and why this could be beneficial to what we're trying to do of collectibility, it starts to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of our links. People in the chat room are asking, do we have anything that they can look at as far as content, front end, or we're still holding all that close to the vest right now, aren't we?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we're still working on the website. We're
Yeah, the web,
still
looking up the back stuff. Oh, fanforge.xyz is what Kool-Aid put in there. So there must be
yeah, but that's
some
not
kind
the
of
final one. I
is
don't
there
think
a
that's
placeholder there or
only.
something.
We're still working on stuff, so maybe that's something people can check out, but it's not the final version.
No, and the artwork's gonna blow you guys away, man. This is good stuff. Um, just the logos that you guys did. I mean, the FanForge logos and all that, just amazing stuff.
Well, I think we're going to put up like another IP called Petrified, which is something we've been working on, which is more again in the I love horror, so a lot of things are going to come from the horror genre. Um, and I think we're going to put that video up. It was a little test, like a teaser video of that project. And we're going to keep going. We're talking to a lot of different creators, a lot of different potential IPs that I think could want to really become part of this platform. And so that's everything from the anime to the manga sectors to more traditional media that you'd find theater, TV show type of IPs.
I'm looking in for some questions to see if we've
Oh
got some
yeah,
questions
yeah,
to answer.
yeah.
What's the time frame, guys?
Um,
2 more weeks.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, yeah. I that would be better on the web development side to know how long they think it's going to take, but ASAP.
Yeah, we're close. 2 weeks is really like the joke around here in crypto.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, let me pull this up real quick. I think SJ did you pull up the website, SJ? Is that what that is? The XYZ? You can go ahead and throw it up there. No? So leave that. I don't know what that is. I can't see it. Let's see. Oh, is that our video that we could run? Let's go ahead and play that.
So that was an AI production test.
Okay.
So we really played around with the idea, can we push AI to create coherent visuals that
Oh, so that was an AI.
using
That was AI.
using traditional means mixed with AI means can make something that we feel is totally a step forward in what would be a TV series type look or something like that, or a film type look. And I think it's there. It's getting there. I think what that little thing shows is the seed of this petrified concept, which again, very quickly was kind of like an anthology series, where the first one we wanted to do was Jaws meets a haunted house. It was about the Haunting of Hill House, if you remember the original story, not
Yeah.
the Netflix one, the original one. Apparently, it would kill people. It was a very bad haunted house. So basically, in the same thing, a parapsychologist were looking into this house from a university. They went there, and a few people turned up missing. And what they can do, because no one believes that ghosts do anything, they hired a combat photographer to go in and chronicle that the ghosts actually exist. And it's just a whole story of basically how he has to escape. But it's kind of this weird thing about the idea that nobody believes you when you tell a ghost story, and that the only people they think that could bring back this evidence is somebody that's seen horrible things in war. So it's just a fun first story. Think of Twilight Zone. It's just a fun first story to play around with that we think is a kind of story that we can tell using the technology, because there are limitations, but the kind of story we think we can do, and I call it analog horror, using this idea of photographs and this thing to tell a story with little clips that is almost, like I said, like a Twilight Zone episode, and less like the big movie. We're not there yet, the big movie. So yeah.
So give us an idea of how the fan themselves is going to be able to get involved and curate their own projects, and what you envision that looking like.
So this isn't step one, or it could be, but I think that there's multiple steps on our planning stage, because we're treating it, like I said, like game development. There's multiple ways. There's an end objective, but you have to build your way there.
Yeah.
The first one is, these items are collectible and they're unique, and I'm calling it a social premiere. I really like the idea, and we'll see if we can work this, but I really like the idea of the people that have the collectible to start with can premiere on their own social media the episodes that they've collected. And they have a window where they are the distribution point for that media. I really love this idea. I don't know if the community loves the idea. I don't know, but this is personally something that I really like. And I think that we move through there. Then the next step is to look at this technology, look at the tools we can put in, and allow them to mod that content and create offshoots and versions that are theirs.
So like kind of create your own story, just like those old books when I was a kid. It was like, turn to page 65 if you want to go venture to go this way, turn to page 90 if you want to go that way.
But think of it that your choices are dynamically generating what's happening to those characters. So we've been testing out a system to do this. And what I really, I get geeked up on technology, but what I love is the idea that in the future, you'll be able to see at Star Wars, for example. I want to know what happened when Han Solo and Chewbacca took their gold basically and flew off, and then you only see him come back when Luke Skywalker needs him to help destroy the Death Star. Well, where did they go in that period of time? I always loved, Han Solo and Chewbacca.
What's that story?
I want to see that story. Now, the original Star Wars story, it's probably a diversion. You don't need it. But a fan should be able to say, I want to extend that. I want to find out what that is, because I really love this universe and world. And I think that at the end of the day.
And then what happened to the characters that they interacted with after that? Like forget the Star Wars part of the story. Let's create the story from there, what they did there, what that run that they did, created, and who the character's structure was after that.
And there's a lot to do. There's the tools, but people are used to this. Minecraft, Roblox, people are used to modding games for all kinds of games. You mod them, you and those, your group, you release a mod, everybody can play in this world that's an offshoot of the main core of the world. That should be part of media as a whole. So I do talk about my future goals that aren't right here. Right here, it's audio dramas. That's the tangible thing. Collectible audio dramas, collectible episodes, collectible, media, that kind of thing. But, I do like getting on that soapbox and saying there's a goal we're trying to reach. There is a long-term perspective on this that I think I 100% think we can build.
Oh, yeah. The
And so, yeah,
technology's
that's
there.
what I love too. Yeah.
It's there.
So, yeah,
Everything's there for it to happen. AI is there. The blockchain's
every,
there.
yep,
The
everything's
content's
there.
there. The want to desire and need to do it is there. It's
And
ready.
honestly,
It's
I
ready.
think expertise, everything, the expertise on the creative side and the blockchain side and on the, the AI technical side, we have the team that can execute this. It's just a matter of doing it,
Yeah, putting it
of
together and
building
doing
it.
it.
Yeah.
And we're doing it. The
Yep.
audio
Yeah.
drama is launching and it's coming
Yeah.
out
The audio
really,
drama
really
is
soon.
building. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it
And
is launching.
the website will be there. The building blocks for this whole
Yep.
concept is there. And now it's just up to us to create all the rest of the technology and
All the,
the
yep. Put
storylines
it
and the
all together.
games,
Yep.
and entertainment and everything. The sky's the limit. Music, arts, entertainment, gaming,
Right.
all of it can be incorporated into this and utilize the blockchain to do so and take the world into Web3. And we got the team to do it. I'm excited. I want to talk real quick about what's behind you because so to this community, your picture on the wall is important because again, the founder of the blockchain Pulse, he is a StarCraft master, and he was actually an addict of the game,
That's
and he completed it so many times, and he actually weaned himself off of it. You know, basically became did a 12-step on his gaming addiction. But could you explain that poster, where it came from, what your involvement was, and just give a little history?
so this poster comes from basically salvage. When StarCraft was being released, it's a print proof. It was a print proof that they set to make sure the colors are right and everything from the printers for the boxes, for the boxes. And there was 3 different boxes. And they printed it all together, and it was sitting in Paul Sam's office. And I used to just run around in people's office and talk to him. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? He's like, we're gonna throw it away. I want it. That was me. So I grabbed it and I took it around and had the team sign it. So there's everybody from Metzen to Alan Adham to well, it's everybody. Anything that's from Samwise to, you go to list of all the original basically StarCraft team has signed that thing.
Very
Um,
sweet.
and I kept it. And we talk about collectability. I collect, these little, like the Diablo thing up there. It's, you can't really see it. It's signed too. The Diablo 2 box. It's I have a little Jesus in front of it just because it is the devil, so I'm going to keep it. but that also signed. It was the same thing, it was kind of nostalgia. But this
Yeah.
thing was a one of a kind. It literally was a print, print proof type of thing that they were going to throw away, and I just thought, that's fun. Let's keep it.
Yeah, right on. That's good. I collect all kinds of stuff too. I have original 1964 GI Joes.
Yep.
I've got Star Wars, figurines. I've got album collections, coins. I'm a
It's
junk
part
collector.
of being human. Everybody collects something.
Yeah,
Everybody collects something. And yeah. I just think it's just a natural part of us, of who we are. We all like to keep, and you reminisce. When I see that, I can think back to those days. There's all kinds of crazy stories. Some that can be told, some that can't be told about early Blizzard days. That was just fun. Just a good time to remember.
right on. So if you were to ask the community anything about what they want to see or something like that, what would you ask them? Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask to the community or to
100%.
us?
What are their favorite genres? Um, you know, uh, what do they think of the idea of owning an episode of something? Even if it just starts as an audio drama. Like, I don't know if I mentioned, I collect also animation cells. So I have like
Mm.
Simpson, Scooby Doo, that kind of stuff. And I have a little tiny piece because it's, there's 30 frames a second, or whatever. It's one animation cell, one tiny piece of an episode I really like, or the characters I really like. I enjoy that. The idea that I can own an entire episode basically is cool to me. Is it cool to people? It is to me. I really would enjoy that. If you said I could own that whole Simpson episode, a long time ago, I could own the whole X-Files episode, I would totally have done it.
Well, here's something interesting. I sit in the spaces, which is a Twitter where they have an audio chat and in these NFT groups, and they love collecting these JPEGs. You know, a lot of them
Yeah.
are doing it for value and whatnot, and turning them and other things. But we've got artists in our chat room that are doing 3D art. We've got artists in the chat room that are just making their own AI art and things like that. But everybody is, you know, collecting these NFTs now. Everybody's collecting these digital properties.
Yeah.
So there's a need for, in my opinion, real quality collectibles, like
Yeah.
from, like you said, from genres of games and entertainment
Yeah.
and things like that. And putting something physical behind it, you know,
Yeah.
whether it's a story or a drama that becomes something, you know, special, turns into a movie, turns into a game, whatever. You know, owning that piece of the beginning of it, I think, is something that the crypto community is really going to embrace. You know, because it'll have it's
Yeah.
more behind it than just a silly JPEG. You know.
Literally, it's owning a piece of that whole media you enjoyed and saying that I actually have this, and I can show it to people and say, oh yeah, I collected that. To me, I see that the physical collectibles, like the physical collectibles you can hang on your wall and that kind of stuff, is amazing. But our world is becoming more and more digitized. You know, social media, the be able to post something on social media and saying this is mine, well, that's all virtual. So if I take a selfie with this collectible I have, it's still only virtual for the rest of my community, people, you know, my friends and stuff. Why not post a piece of media that I've collected that my friends can enjoy too? You know what I mean? I see the world's become this virtual place.
Yeah,
And
I
you
mean,
know,
I've got to say, even me, I'm pretty proud of my 20-year Steam badge. That I don't know if too many people have a 20-year Steam badge, but I have the 20-year Steam badge. From I signed up on my Steam account in the first year Steam launched. So yeah, I'm
well,
pretty proud of that.
it's the virtual milestones in life that I think that people need to realize. You know, I loved Game of Thrones.
Oh,
You know, there are these shows and TV, you know, I followed and I'm a big
yeah,
fan of, you know.
imagine the excitement behind some collectibles of that. I mean, I love that show too. You can, you know,
Imagine like almost like, you know, comic books. This was the first appearance of, you know, Spider-Man and the Green Goblin or something like that, and you own that comic book. Well, I should be able to own the first appearance of, like, you know, the Onion Knight or something like that, you know, in the mythos of, you know, Game of Thrones, and be like, oh yeah, that's mine. I'm a fan, and I share it in the digital world. I share it to social media, which is just all a digital thing. And that digital thing that I own, you can watch too, you can listen to, or whatever, but I own it and you don't. Either way, you
yeah.
know, I'm the collector of it, and I've proven it because I put some money to collect this.
And
I
maybe
think,
even I'm just thinking pre-purchasing that
yeah,
collectible before that episode comes out, and then that episode coming out and you getting a piece of that episode in that
yeah,
collectible that you got, not knowing what it was going to be, but you're the only one that got it because you got it in early and
you know
purchased
what?
it before it even
One of
came
the
out.
things I love, it's that mystery box thing. I don't know if
The
you,
mystery
because,
box, yeah.
like I said, I'm a geek. I buy all kinds of but mystery
Me
box.
too.
You never know exactly what little character you're going to get. I
Exactly.
find that exciting too. I actually got my wife into the same thing. She now has bought, not the quite the same ones I do, but she buys it because you get maybe a dozen little potential characters, and you never know which one you're going to get. There is fun in this. Like I
Hmm.
said, fun is important, and I think the whole process should be fun. The whole,
Yeah.
not just, it's a business, but it's a business of entertainment, which means it all needs to be exciting and fun, and collectible means something. And I have a little community to get together that all enjoy the same thing, and maybe we can trade episodes. You know, there's all kinds of things that can happen in the long
Hmm.
run. And then maybe there's exclusive episodes that only collectors of a certain amount of, you know, of things can get, and then they can, you know, there's some really cool things you can do in a digital world that you
Yeah.
can't really do in the physical world because of limitations where I can drive and travel and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Well,
think
and
hopefully
we're teamed up to do so.
we're
So
teamed
I'm
up to do something.
excited about it.
Hopefully the community likes it. Hopefully at the end of the day they like it, and uh, they see what we're talking about. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, Paul, we're getting ready to close off here. I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to finish up, but I got to tell you how excited I am and how honored I am to be working with you guys, and what a
Same
breath of
thing.
fresh air it is to have somebody from the outside world kind of embracing what it is that we're doing over here versus
Yeah.
looking at it and going, "Oh my God, what are you guys doing? Oh, that's a scam. Oh, that's horrible that you're in that." But to be able to work with people that are excited about the technology and what it can bring
Mhm.
to their space, and us being able to embrace you guys and bring you guys into the fold and teach you things that you're teaching us,
Yep.
and being involved in something that was just like childhood dreams for me.
Yeah.
I'm really honored and privileged, and glad to have met you, and can't wait to see what the future looks like for us and our team.
Oh, me too. Everybody, we're all excited. We're all excited. And I think meeting you guys, there's a realness that we like too. You know what I mean? It seems like there's a genuineness in this whole, hopefully the whole community that is cool to utilize. That we are going to try and bring something really fun to everybody. So yeah, at the end of the day, I know we're wrapping up, but yeah, we're
Well,
excited.
real quick, there's one more thing. We've got another piece of the Fanforge. I think it's the pass. We can talk about the pass real quick, and then we'll end it.
Oh yeah.
So when we do launch, there is going to be a way for you to purchase the Fanforge pass, and you want to let them know what that's going to kind of entail.
It's going to be kind of like a season pass or a membership pass, where you will then get first right of, well, I'm using that not first right of refusal, but first
access.
First access at a discount to physical and digital merchandise. And I think that is would be very cool at the end of the day, because like I said, as we build this out, to be able to get the first episode before anybody else, and if there's a limited amount of collectibles, you're guaranteeing you're getting that collectible and that merchandise, physical merchandise too, at a reduced rate, because you're one of our pass holders. And at the end of the day, it helps us build out all these aspirations. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot behind it.
Kind of like your Steam account pass, guys, something like that. As you're getting into this ecosystem. So that's going to be when the launch does happen, and it's soon. And I kid about 2 weeks, but it's going to be sometime soon in the next couple of weeks. But if you see the artwork there with the forging dwarf, they literally put that thing together just recently. I mean, that's not some old image or something that they brought in. This is stuff that they are creating right now, and it's just insane how good these guys are. Cool stuff. So, all right, man, Paul, it was really, really a pleasure having you on the show, and it's been a pleasure working with you too. You're a professional, and it's been great working.
100%, yeah.
And watching how things are coming along, and we're excited to see the launch here. And well, hopefully when we do the launch, we're going to have a launch party and get everybody on the same time, do an effing hangout, and get everybody talking about it. And after the launch, and we'll talk some more. Maybe get some people to come up with some gaming history questions for you, and talk about the stuff that you've been through.
Maybe slip a couple secrets of some of that development thing.
Oh, right on. All right, guys, thanks for coming. We will see you on Friday. I think we've got some more cool stuff coming up. We'll let you know. We're looking to launch some more stuff on top of Fanforge. The team here has another project that we're launching, but we will see you guys on Friday. Have a good one. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Bye.
Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of the code. The fundamentals of the code are better than Bitcoin's fundamentals. The inflation model is better than Bitcoin's inflation model. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. It's decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things